So I got rained out of the skate park. So we're going to talk about my truck. This is my 76 C10 that I bought back in 2018 as my work truck. Paid $1,000 for it, and it's honestly been a real good driver for a long time. But then the accelerator pump on the carb started leaking, and I decided I've had a lot of plans to make this a reliable daily driver. And let me just show you what's inside. This is what we're working with. As you can see, it is not the original engine. It is a small block Chevy. It's a 350 out of a late 80s, early 90s engine truck. One of the throttle body injected engines. And they had, when they put it in, they'd kept the original intake manifold, and they'd put on a Ford Motorcraft 2-barrel carburetor with an adapter plate. And so when the accelerator pump started leaking on that, I decided I'm just going to go ahead and put on Edelbrock intake manifold and a Edelbrock carburetor. So get out of here. So there's our Edelbrock carb. And then I proceeded to light the truck on fire. That's why, you know, this is all rusted. This is all scorched. Don't ask me how it happened. Well, you can see how our fan shroud just kind of melted to the mechanical fan. I'm surprised the radiator hose didn't pop. I think we are probably going to need to get a new fuel filter. I don't think this one's going to do the job anymore. Our belts just popped, spark plug wires popped, but I think our distributor survived, which is nice because that's a MSD distributor and they're a little pricey. Also, all this melted in the fire. Yeah, the truck was already kind of a mess when I got it. Like I said, it was $1,000. Like, you know, it had that stuff going on, and because it was a TBI engine, it did not have it didn't have a mechanical fuel pump. So whoever did the swap put a little Edelbrock inline pump on the frame going from the tank to the engine. So there's that. Yeah, so it needs quite a bit of work. It needed quite a bit of work before I set it on fire, but now it really needs a lot of work. The nice thing though is that pretty much everything that got burnt up was stuff that I was already going to replace and had already purchased the parts for. For example, I already have a new radiator with electric fan conversion, and I have a serpentine belt kit that I pulled from a junkyard off of one of these, you know, TBI engines. And I had already wanted to replace these battery cables because the starter cable, or the power cable, you can see came up here and it just ran straight down to the starter. Like, just why didn't they run it along here all nice and neat? They just cut straight down, like trying to save as much money on wire as they could, I guess. But it would look so much nicer if it came up here. So I'd already planned to redo that anyways. So now I just have to do everything at once as opposed to doing it one piece at a time. Let's go inside the truck. This is the inside of the truck. This is the original color right here. Pretty nice looking. Looks like some college kids decided to try to spray paint it orange, which is why I then just spray painted it kind of a flat green. I'm thinking about spray painting it camo. I don't know, we'll see. I have the dash ripped out right now because I want to, you know, replace all the gauges. I actually have a painless performance wiring harness for this whole truck. So I'm going to completely rewire the whole truck. And I'm going to completely redo the interior. I'm also going to get rid of that long brake pedal right there and replace it with a short brake pedal. And there's going to be a third pedal there, which, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. My goal is to get this thing doing 80 miles an hour at 2,000 RPMs. So that way I can road trip it. Looking at the exterior of the truck, you can see it's pretty rough. It's got plenty of like rust in the bed, but the worst of it, and it's got, you know, rust, your typical rust in your fenders and down there, but the worst of it is right here by the windshield. Like, it's just, yeah, this is pretty bad. That's the worst of it. I honestly don't know what's going to happen with that. This is going to be a work truck. I'm not planning on restoring this to be like a show truck or anything like that. It will always be my work truck. But I do want to get that rust taken care of at some point so I can, you know, this thing can live for another 50 years. But yeah, this is my truck. There's the driver's side. It's dent free, surprisingly. I think maybe there's like a little dent in that quarter pound, but it's actually a pretty straight truck. The rust is kind of a shame. The worst of the rust is up there on the body, like I said. The frame is actually pretty dang good. This rust right here is all like flash rust from when it caught on fire. It's not that big of a deal. I'll take you under and you can look at the frame. The frame's not that bad. It's pretty much just surface level rust. Dirt. You know, kind of like what you would expect for a 50-year-old vehicle. It's mostly just dirt. Like, it's pretty dang good. The floor pans are solid, which is just insane. And it does have new stainless steel exhaust with some cherry bomb fast packs on it. And I have some shorty headers that I'm going to put on. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to put on this thing. It has all the glass, which is great. The windshield is cracked, but that's not very expensive for these trucks. So, yep. It did have the original wheels when I bought them, but they were so rusted that they could not hold air, and I didn't feel like sanding them down, so I just went ahead and bought some cheap Kraggers. But that's the truck. Expect to see more of it on the channel.